A bench power supply is a very important piece of equipment that an electronics hobbyist can own. With it, we can easily limit the voltage and current. That is mandatory when we are testing circuits, charging batteries and testing components. In case you don't know, limiting current can save your components if you have done anything wrong during the circuit design. This is obviously quite a good feature to have. But these power supplies aren't coming cheap, and by looking at their price tags, I said forget about it, I will make it by myself. But how? I am pretty lazy and don't want to design my complex circuits right now. So I searched on the internet and found this LTC 3780 step up step down converter. Compared to my common state where I have used this battery as a power supply and this boost and buck converter to step up and step down the voltages, I would say it's pretty good deal. So today in this video I will test this module, make the connection, and finally using two of these modules I will create a 2-channel lab bench power supply which has lots of incredible features. So let's get started. This supply is going to be fully modular. No need for any kind of circuit design. The heart of the system is the LTC 3780 step up step down converter, which is a really powerful buck and boost converter, can handle up to 130 watt. To measure the voltage and current, I am using this small voltage and current meter on the output. I have connected the supply wire and the power wire of the meter to the input of the board. Output positive is connected with one loose wire and the voltage sensor of the meter. The black wire of the current measuring path of the display connects with the negative output. This yellow loose wire represents the positive voltage and red is ground. Frankly speaking though, this setup is not a proper setup. Depending upon the meters, values may be getting distorted, aka imprecise. You have to use separate power supply for the precise measurements, as you can compare the current reading on the meter and multimeter. With the different power source, the current value is pretty accurate. Anyway, after turning on the supply, the system does not turn on immediately. We have to provide at least 5 volt on this pin to activate the output of the board. This later comes very handy to turn on/off the output. Now we can tinker these two potentiometers. It is mentionable that previously it was trimmers, but I have modified these trimmers and converted them into potentiometers. You can watch this video on the I button as well as on the video description. Let's say I have not modified them, so the far left one controls the output voltage. The maximum it can reach up to 29 volt and minimum 0.7 volt. The trimmer in the middle can limit the current. Minimum is 0.11 ampere, aka 110 milliampere, and maximum 9.81 amps, which is huge. And I will never recommend you to take such a huge amount of current at maximum voltage. To test the module capability, I have used 4 1 ohm resistors in series. I have set the voltage level at a maximum of 28.7 volt and the maximum current output is also set on maximum. So after connecting the load, voltage dropped at 24.7 volt at a current rating of 9.9 amps. As the module runs, we have to cool these heatsinks. So I have used a fan on the final product, otherwise the system may not last long. And yes, this third trimmer should be untouched because it is for under voltage protection, which you don't care in this case. As a power source, I am using my old PC power supply that according to its label can output 24 amps on its 12 volt rail. Total 288 watt of power. Good enough to proceed. But with this thin wire, no. A single piece of wire can handle neither 288 watt load nor 138 watt load. Not only that, there are also a bunch of extra wires are coming out from the PSU that eventually have no use. And also we need to get rid of this enclosure because we can't fit those modules inside it. So I have decided to remove the enclosure and get rid of all the unnecessary wires. And the important 12 volt one will be replaced by 0.5 square millimeter wire. Now I should mention that I haven't removed this blue, green and black wire from the PCB right now. By shorting green and black wires together, the PSU turns on, and disconnecting them, the PSU turns off. So by fitting a switch between these wires, we can turn on/off the supply. But that's really a pointless idea, so I short this point with a piece of wire. Anyway, I have cut these 8 pieces of 0.5 square millimeter wires to use as a PSU output. The wire combination looks like this. The reason behind using them as a set of 2 to achieve more power handling capability. Next, I have taken out the fan from the PCB and started to put the wires on the PCB one by one. Later, I have also soldered 2 thin red wires on the 12 volt rail for the LTC3780 modules. That's it. Now it's time for the input. In my case, white wire is phase and the black wire is neutral. And this is ground. I have replaced them with new wires. Blue is phase, black is neutral and the green wire is ground. After connecting the PSU with the mains, as you can see, I am getting around 12 volt from both sets. And if you ask me why do I leave that blue wire behind, the reason is that blue wire can provide -12 volt against ground. Later though, I have replaced this wire with a 1 mm thick red wire. Why, you may ask? Because I want to take out -12 volt rail from my power supply. Again, I have soldered 2 0.5 square millimeter thick black wire together to the ground and a yellow wire to the +12 volt. The configuration looks like this: +12 volt, ground, -12 volt. And please do not replicate this project if you have no experience with electronics. This high voltage is lethal and has the potential to kill you. Anyway, for the second supply channel, I have also used another LTC3780 in the same configuration. This time I have only used the other set of blue and black wire of the power supply on the input of the module. Now it's time for an enclosure. I bought this metal box which front panel design doesn't impress me much. So I have bought another same enclosure and replaced the front panel with the back panel of the new box. Now I can design the front whatever I want. Firstly, we need to replace the 500K and 200K trimmers of the LTC3780 module. I just heated up the pins and shortly after they can be lifted up from the board. Then I have used these modified trimmers which actually work as multi-turn potentiometers. To complete this project, I took 4 modified potentiometers with knobs, 1 AC socket, 1 5A fuse holder, a 12 volt fan, fan grill, 3 switches, 4 binding posts, a couple binding post and a single binding post. So to pack everything together, I used this enclosure. First, I have covered the front panel with the masking tape and did some basic measurements where I want my external parts to be placed. I have marked those spots and used my rotary tool to make place for the displays and switches. For bigger and smaller holes, I have used my drill to do the job done. On the back, I covered it with scotch tape and did a cut to expose the fan from the center. Actually, I traced the mark from an old computer case, then I have drilled multiple holes on the fan outline and by using the chisel, I cut out the unnecessary piece. Then, I have used my rotary tool to smooth down the sharp edges. Afterward, I have drilled holes to set the fan in place. So, it's time to set the AC socket, which is not pretty hard for me because I have something to trace its dimension on this plate. Afterward, I have used my rotary tool to take the room for it. Next, I have put the socket in its place and have traced its screw mark, and using my 2.5 mm bit, I have done the screw holes for the socket. That's it. Let's start the assembling process, which I start off with the fan and the fan grill. I have set this fan like this to throw the air inside the cabinet. Then I set the fan grill on top of it like this and have screwed them together. Afterward, I have put the AC socket and set it in place with nut and bolts. On the front, I have first set the meters, then the switches, and finally all the binding posts. I am not installing the potentiometers right now because it's not possible due to this. And oh yes, I have changed the theme of the box a little bit according to my taste, so don't worry if you don't like this sticker. Here I want to mention that I have soldered 2 wires on the PSU board for the fan. Now all we have to do is to set up all the circuit boards inside the enclosure. First, I have placed them in a suitable locations and marked their screw holes. After all the measurements, then I have drilled only diagonal holes for each component. Next, I have used double-sided tape underneath all the components. Then I set them in place. This tape works as an insulator, so the modules cannot be shorted by the metal body. Next, I have screwed all of them in place and have done all the connections like before. On the back panel, however, I have also wired them up according to this diagram. That's it for the back panel now. Let's finish the assembling of the front. I start off from the binding posts. I have connected all the outputs from the LTC3780 modules to it. Before moving forward, I take my multimeter and make sure that there is no short between the body and the binding posts. Okay, now everything is alright. So I have set the potentiometers one by one and tighten all the corresponding nuts with them. Afterward, I have prepared these switches for the operations, which are basically DPST switches. One section controls the power on signal as I mentioned earlier, and another section turns on the meters. I am not describing everything here, you will get the detailed schematic for your understanding. Next, I have used this separate 6V power supply for the meters. First, I take it apart and then cut down its power prone. Then I have soldered the AC power wire with it. By the way, I have taken the phase from the switch, but the main PSU's phase is connected. And of course, the neutral is common. The positive output of the 6V supply will definitely go to this switch, as I told you before, and the negative is directly connected with meter's negative. And don't forget to use insulators on all the wire joints, otherwise the system may short badly and the whole system can be burned down in a fraction of a second. As a final touch, I connected the fan wire with the power supply. Before putting everything back together, I always prefer to double check my connection. And sadly, I always have to resolve something that I have done before. It is not an exception this time obviously. I have connected the -12V and the +12V wire with the binding posts in reverse. So I have to resolve it anyway. This is the complete diagram for you guys. Here I have used 2 more diodes on the outputs of the LTC3780 modules for protection, which helps a lot if you are too aggressive to charge batteries with this power supply. So that's it. Let's put all the pieces together. It's quite a simple job to do, but you have to be cautious about the wires. They should not be punched by the box. After putting the top lid back in place, I have tightened all the screws and we are done. Oh yes, I completely forgot to mention the knobs I have used on the potentiometers. There I have to cut down the axle of the potentiometers a little bit to set the knobs perfectly. Now let's put a 2A fuse in the fuse holder, connect the AC power into the socket, and finally, with the name of the god, I press the power switch and thankfully there is no explosion. Okay, let me allow you to clarify something. These 2 sets of binding posts are connected with the LTC3780 modules. These 3 ports however are directly connected with the PSU. To connect the output with the binding posts, I have used these banana plugs and have soldered crocodile clips on the other end of the wire. We are finally at the end of this project. So I have used this contraption which has a long nichromoid. I connect the two terminals of the power supply with it, and you can see the meter reads the voltage and the current consumption of this resistive load. So I can say this DIY dual channel power supply is working perfectly fine. If you want to recreate this project, then all the parts list, circuit diagram and closed pictures are found on the video description. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe and activate the notification bell for future updates. Thank you so much.